Okay, good morning. How's everyone feeling? Feeling good? That doesn't...
Great.
Great, that's better. Awesome. So as many of you know, my name's Hannah. I've been living in Alice Springs for the last 2 years. I have sadly just left the region. Probably unnecessary, but that's all right. My project has combined 3 of my passions together. So when thinking about what I was going to do this year, it's kind of hard because, you know, there's so many things you could do. And I was thinking, how can I combine young people and youth of the future, environment and community together? So I came up with the Return and Earn project, which we'll find out about throughout the presentation. So essentially, what is Return and Earn? What is Return and Earn? So Return and Earn is actually an initiative currently in New South Wales. It's a government initiative and it's actually funded by people that create bottles. What it is it's a reverse vending machine. It's 2 shipping containers and then a vending machine front. I've got a video here that we can take a look at and it'll explain how the system works. So this is what's currently happening in New South Wales. What did you think of that? Good? So as you've just seen, this is what's currently happening in New South Wales. However, I want to be able to implement this across the Northern Territory. So because there's a machine already made, we would simply use that machine. However, we would have to make some adjustments to make it more suitable to the territory. Now, how it works, so the structure of it, there's 3 main partners. We've got the Environment Protection Authority, we've got Cleanway, and we've got Exchange for Change. They all play a part within making this work. We've got Exchange for Change, they administer the scheme, they manage the finances, they figure out who gets paid. We've got Tomra and Cleanway, they're in charge for operations and recycling, so they are the people that physically implement the machines, put them in, take away the bottles, everything like that. And then we've got the Environment Protection Authority, so this is the New South Wales, they do it for New South Wales, we have one in the Northern Territory. They simply regulate the scheme, make sure that there's no fraud and that everything is going according to plan. So, when thinking about why would we have this in the Northern Territory, there's a few different reasons. So firstly, for the community, it makes perfect sense. It gives people a relationship with their rubbish, it cleans up the streets, it's a positive impact, and it shows that what we're doing is incredible and that, you know, so many other towns can follow. It's really important because it creates donations. So not just for individual people that may want to keep the donation themselves, but there's going to be a lot of people that want to donate their bottles just like they do now and they don't keep the funds themselves. They'll either take the money and then give it to their own community group, or they'll use one of the donation partners, which is run by the council, and we'll have a list of different community groups that you can donate to. Another positive thing, another positive impact is in New South Wales at the moment, as you can see up here, I don't even know how to say that number. I think it's 2,591,585,002 drink containers have been returned so far. They've only been going since December 2017, so almost 2 years now, and that's the amount they've collected. They've also mentioned that 1 in every 2 adults have changed their relationship with rubbish and the way that they think about it. So I think that's pretty incredible. Next, when thinking about the environment and this process, we all know in the Territory there's lots of drink bottles and containers on the ground. We're using a lot of recyclable material. We don't currently, in every place in the Territory, have curbside recycling available. And we're currently using local councils to pick up the rubbish we do have. So that is just one of the many reasons why we should be implementing this scheme. Another thing is when coming to glass, does anyone know what glass is made out of? That's sand, limestone and soda ash. So 3 materials that are mined. That's obviously using a lot of resources that could be used from recycled material. So when looking at recycled glass, as it says here, making glass from recycled materials saves 74% of energy, which essentially makes sense. It's like, why are we making things harder for ourselves? So by receiving these containers through the recycling process, we would be able to recycle better because a lot of those recycled bottles would be going to recycling as opposed to landfill. Now, when it comes back to for the young people, When my father was younger, he used to go to the football field and collect all bottles so he could go to the lolly shop afterwards and buy lollies. There's lots of young people in the Territory. There's no doubt about it. They're either too young for Centrelink, they don't receive pocket money. Now, I'm not saying your parents have to be drinkers and you have to collect them. You know, there's many different ways and there's lots of bottles on the street. But for example, 2 cartons of beer equals $5. As a young person, $5 is a lot of money for pocket money for the week. That's 5 frozen Cokes from KFC. So when we come to who, in Australia currently, we have New South Wales that have got 640 vending machines across the state, and they started in November 2017. We have December 2017. We have Queensland that started in November 2018, so just a bit over a year ago. And they've also produced by a company in South Australia. However, South Australia doesn't currently have any reverse vending machines. Western Australia, they're launching their campaign in June 2020, so you know, in the next 6 months they'll be up and running. In ACT, they're actually implementing an over-the-counter scheme before they ask for expressions of interest for the reverse vending machine. In Victoria, council's already implemented 4 machines across 1 district, and that works on a little bit of a different system with giveaways and prizes involved. Tasmania, they're aiming to be the tidiest state by 2023, so as part of their implementation plan, the Minister for Environment has announced that they will be, between now and 2023, rolling out reverse vending machines. As for the Northern Territory, I don't see why we can't do it. So that's, I guess, something that we need to think about potentially implementing so we can catch up. As you would have heard just in Emily's speech before, she said the Territory is almost 40 years behind. So who in the NT is going to implement this, and what does that look like? So we need government. We need both NTG and local councils. We need Exchange for Change, the scheme coordinator, the Environment Protection Authority, and TOMRA. We currently already have a TOMRA in Coconut Grove, so that's no problem with you know, being interstate or anything like that. We also need people that are going to pick up bottles. But as I said, it's voluntarily. There's no one being like, okay, you look under 12, you should be picking up bottles to earn your pocket money for the week. So where? As far as I'm concerned, it needs to be in every town in Northern Territory. So Alice Springs, Tennant Creek, Katherine, Darwin, and the surrounding suburbs. As you've already seen, on all recyclable bottles it says SANT 10-cent refund, but the thing is it's not clear where to go. It doesn't say, oh, here's the address for where you need to take it. As you can see, in Alice Springs we have an Enviro bank currently. If you can see, it's 15 kilometres from the town centre. Does anyone know how someone under 16 that doesn't drive is going to be able to get out there with their whole milk crates and bags full of bottles? It's very inaccessible. Same with Tennant Creek. Far away. Katherine, same thing. As you can see, opening hours, they're not, you know, null and void, Monday to Friday closed. You know, you've got 4 hours on a Saturday. A lot of young people play sport then, and they're all not within walking distance. We need to create products that are in the CBD. You can essentially grab your bottles, chuck 10 in, spit your receipt out, go to Woolies and get your cash for that. Now, do any of you know about this centre in Coconut Grove? Anyone seen it? Pauline, great. So as you can see, we actually have something similar in Coconut Grove. This is a reverse vending machine. It's just within a centre. It's perfect, it's great, but the problem is no one knows about it. It's a big centre, it shuts, so it's only open 9 till 5, and it's in Woot Woot. We need things that are individual bases, open 24/7 and in the CBD. Now, coming back to where do we go from here? So, you know, I've planted a seed, we've gathered some information, but where do we go from here? So what we need to do is we need to look at an NT model. New South Wales model is fairly perfect. They've nutted it all out. They've been doing it for 2 years now. They've been able to roll out the kinks, but in the Northern Territory, there's a few things we need to change. We need to make sure that, because we're not going to be having 640 vending machines, we need to make sure that we're placing them appropriately in CBD locations in the town centre. We need to make sure that we accept wine bottles and glass, which not all reverse vending machines have done. And we also need to make sure that they're open 24/7. We all know that young Territorians like to hang out late at night. Couldn't think of a better activity to do. As far as funding, I always say I haven't been able to get an exact costing because, you know, this person's like, oh, I'll talk to this person and then we'll send you an email next week. Or actually, no, sorry, I have to do this. So as far as pricing, I'm not...